Happy that we had three speakers before me so that I could be comfortable. And we had, we all know now exactly what anxiety is all about. So in which part of the brain. So I am talking about a situation, a little aspect that creates a lot of anxiety among language learners. In South India in general, there's a big presence of English due to missionary activities and the colonial impact. A lot of English, particularly in my state. The moment the child opens his eyes in the labor room, he or she probably sees an English board written somewhere, keep the door shut or something like that. So such a lot of presence of English. So you would, and English is taught in all schools, and one would expect people to speak excellent English, or rather be very comfortable using English soon after they complete school. But the situation is that it's not the case. So the reasons are probably similar to other parts of the world, but one major problem is that we teach English in a largely literature-focused manner. We teach poems, we teach essays, and the focus is often on literature. And the English teachers believe the reason for their being on the surface of the earth is to teach literature, and not much focus on languages there. And if at all there is a language focus, it's always teaching grammar. Grammar-based language classes is a major problem. We have, it looks very good, but my talk will explain why it's a problem. And insistence on correctness is another issue. We always expect our students to come up with, I think it happens everywhere, the correct sentences. And if there's a mistake, you have there's a high level of error tolerance these days. But still, we have traditional teachers in young bodies in all over Kerala who have this insistence on correctness. The students are very, very afraid even to open their mouths to brush their teeth. The thing is, coming to grammar, I'm focusing on the aspect of grammar, how grammar becomes a hindrance. There's a lot of explicit grammar teaching even though we talk a lot about communicative language teaching, we talk a lot about student-centered approaches, etc. in Kerala, but still there is a lot of grammar teaching. And students do a lot of exercise and they come up with excellent sentences, like the passive form of learn the lesson, let the lesson be learned, which nobody normally uses in their normal sense of the brain. And also they are able to create fantastic sentences like, if, for example, a future perfect continuous sentence. Like by the time I come to Brighton 20 years later, you would have all that kind of convoluted sentences. We spend a lot of time preparing them for the exams, and questions are asked on such complicated things. So you create a very complicated sentence and get 100% marks for the exam, go out and he is not able to talk in English very simple. So this kind of thing, students are expected to have metalinguistic knowledge of words like zero conditional. This is from a very recent example. A student of mine has been doing an online course to improve her English, an adult learner, so she is above 50, and they was telling her, using terms like the zero conditional, the third conditional, etc. And the third day she stopped unconditionally learning English. To many teachers, knowing English is knowing an adverb phrase when you see one. So that is it. Identify that. The moment, the first day you talk about nouns, you talk about adjectives, and the teachers worry a lot if the student is not able to identify, for example, an adverb, even an adverb. So the conviction that the ability to explain why is the same as knowing the language, which is a traditional long thing, long prevalent thing, which we thought we had overcome with the communicative language techniques that we have been using. And this kind of overemphasis on teaching grammar in a very conscious way, explicit way, results in this conviction. One is that learning grammar is equal to learning language. Second is that when the person tries to use language, either in speech or writing, he or she has this problem of the grammatical rules she has. So instead of saying, I want to go home, he or she comes up, thinks of would have been, etc., and is not able to say that simple sentence. So you have that. And one of my learners has said that the moment I try to speak, I have such a lot of English inside me. The moment I try to speak, the fear of going wrong locks my tongue. This is what it is. It locks my tongue. He is trying to rhyme also. And this is where the grammatical rules acts as a filter, borrowing Krashen's word, which prevents you from using the language. And this poses problem. And these things I have put there are based on my experience teaching a bunch of adult learners. I've moved to another department a year back, and there we have a course which is run for adults maybe ranging from 25 years to 65 to 70 years. And many of these young senior people, the plan is they have children living in England, in Canada, in USA, etc. They want to go there and they want to converse with the people there. They all are excellent people with excellent English knowledge. They have a good knowledge. They have been in the civil service, etc. But they have decided they do not know English and they have come to learn. And what they expect is they learn grammar lessons. So the moment you try communicative activities, they look very serious and tell us, they look to us, when are you starting? So they expect grammar lessons. They have an irrational conviction that once these rules are learned, so 60-year-old man, believe me, still believes that he has a long way to go, and he believes that if he has digested the Renan Martin book, there is a book that we used to have, and I don't know in other parts of the world, a red book called the Renan Martin's Grammar, which have prevented more people from using English than he has taught them. And then they see, so when you try this communicative method, when you try to get them involved in conversations in a very contextual manner, they refuse to do it because they believe that this is a grammar lesson. Even if you try to teach grammar through a communicative activity, it is rejected. So this is a serious issue that I personally faced with adult learners in my part of the world. And they did not see any points and activities, because English has always been taught like a subject where the teacher teaches and you learn and expect to become wise. So, and they fail to see reading and listening as ways to learn. It's a very important thing, because I have always believed that with Krashen, that as much input we can have, as much reading you have, as much listening you have, the better users of English you become, which is everybody knows that. Unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to convince our adult learners to do that. Not only adult learners, young learners, nobody, because it is a little difficult thing, and you need patience. As Olha was saying, they have very unattainable goals. So I want to finish my English in 2 months, and we have books and programs offering to teach you English in 48 hours. So this is something they totally reject. And the solutions that I have tried to adapt in the short period I had with them, and now we have revised the whole syllabus, and we are trying to start a fresh one in June. I don't know how things are going to be. One thing is that these are things I used to do. I used to give long lectures on, grammar learning is not learning language. You have to, you have to use English, etc. I used to speak very vehemently. They will listen to you very nicely, and at the end they will ask, when do you start grammar? And so those lectures, no point in making, but still you have to. Very judicious blend. So I thought, if that's what they want, let me give it to them. A very, very judicious blend of explicit grammar teaching with communicative. This is something that I have yet to master, because it's very, very difficult to teach grammar explicitly when you don't believe in doing that. But once you succeed in doing that, which I plan to do in the coming June, I think I'll trick them into learning English. Until students are weaned out of the grammar, what is happening, which is but what happy thing is, when I look at many short-term courses people are offering post-COVID, things are changing in such a big way. You have English; they're teaching English through the WhatsApp. In all these programs, they are focusing on speech and listening and reading. But unfortunately, even these teachers, at one point, they grow panicky and start using zero conditional, adverb of manner, etc. And then the students stop learning because there is this two kind of issues. There are set of people who informally wants to learn English, and there the teachers bringing in grammar creates problem. But there is a larger set of learners who are very serious in learning, but they again are prevented from the process by this over anxiety about grammar. So what exactly is the grammar you're looking for is the. So this is one interesting case that I noted very recently. It's a student. She's 53. She had a motivation to learn English because she left a job and she wanted to move to another job, and she found that a better command of English is needed. So very strange level of intrinsic motivation she was. She started an English course via WhatsApp in January, and was spending several hours doing this, writing, speaking. About the course they run was very good. They were encouraging the students to come up with, give a topic and make a short video, audio, 1 minute audio on it, what you did today, etc. Simple. From simple, they were gradually building up, and she felt this is what they were doing. But then she started listening YouTube videos initially on things in that interested her, like gardening, etc. But then I noticed that she was reading a lot of audiobooks, and also a lot of Russian TV serials. Somehow she decided dubbed into English. This is her own choice. That's the importance that I feel. The student, if I had told her to watch an English serial from UK, she would never have done it. She found out on her own happened, and I did not interfere at all. Zero interference. I was an observer only. At no point I suggested anything, and by March, the program that she was doing, they started using meta language, and she got frightened. She stopped doing that, but she stops the course. But now but the interest, the success that she began to feel was so, what shall we say, exhilarating, that she began to watch full English movie, and she reads her first English book at the age of 53 by the end of April. So April, this is April. I don't know if she'll continue, but I could visibly see that how the benefit of input was, and the worry about grammar is lost, and she was speaking almost in simple sentences, but very well. This is I'm concluding. So this is my decision. So what I am going to do with my adult learners would be to limit the use of meta language, but at the same time use it so that they feel comfortable because they're used to it. Higher error tolerance, encouragement, and a lot of appreciation for the effort. Only appreciation and encouragement, and input on a long-term basis. And focus on accuracy only after the initial attainment of fluency and confidence, which are things we have always been doing. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much.